Good morning, Rudy Campos, Remax Gold Coast Realtors, 479-2992. I wanted to talk to you today about how do we create a situation where we can create wealth and cash flow or income on a monthly basis. One of the easiest ways to do that is to purchase income properties or residential income properties. You can also do it by buying commercial income properties, residential income properties. But how do you decide which property is the best one for you to purchase? There's several ways that people determine what's good for them or what's not. One of them is called gross rent multiplier. So that's a number that will give people an idea as to whether this property makes sense or not. That's just one of the things that you can use to determine whether the property is worth you buying or not. So let me explain to you a little bit about what is gross rent multiplier. Gross rent multiplier represents the ratio between the rental property's price and its gross scheduled income. And therefore telling the investor what the property price is based upon is, so gross rent multiplier represents the ratio between a rental property's price and its gross scheduled income. That's the annual rental income from all units. Therefore, telling the investor what the property price is based upon each dollar of its annual gross rental income potential. In other words, it tells the investor that if the building was fully occupied without vacancies, the price for the property would be equal to the multiplier times the annual amount of rental income. For example, an income property with a gross rent multiplier of 6.0 would indicate that the property's price is 6 times its gross scheduled income. Therefore, the property would have to generate an annual income fully occupied for 6 years in order to equal its price. Of course, it's never likely to expect that an income producing property has 0 vacancies. In our area, I would say the vacancy ratio is probably about 3%. So in this case, you would use the current rents for the number of units occupied and estimate the market of rents for the number of vacant units. Okay, so let's take, for example, if a property has a gross rent multiplier of 12, what that means is it's going to take 12 years for that property's income to pay itself. If the property's gross rent multiplier is 8, that means it's going to take only 8 years for that property's income to pay that amount. So the higher the gross rent multiplier, the better for the seller. The lower the gross rent multiplier, the better for the buyer. So that's what you need to remember. To make it simple, is gross rent multiplier is the number of times that the annual income is going to take to repay the amount that you purchased the property for. So again, if you have a gross rent multiplier that is higher than 10, that means that the seller is going to benefit more than the buyer. If it's less than 10, then the buyer is going to benefit more than the seller. And as an investor, what you want to determine, number one, is what is the gross rent multiplier. And most of the properties that are on the market, many of the properties should have that information in there. If it's not available, then you can ask the agent that's working with you to find out what is the gross rent multiplier. And if you have any other questions regarding that topic of gross rent multiplier, you can call me anytime. My number here is 479-2992. 479-2992. Rudy Campos, Remax Gold Coast Realtors. And we'll continue more discussing about how to determine what's a good deal for you when looking for income properties. Until then, thank you. Have a great day.